welcome to the Unapologetically Daphnique podcast. I'm Daphnique Springs, and today's guest is Rubyn Warren. What's up, Rubyn?
Hey, I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having me back.
You know what? You got the highest rated podcast thus far.
Oh, well, I feel honored. That's a blessing.
All right, don't let it go to your head.
Okay.
All right, today's topic is, we're going to go all the way back to Kanye West.
Okay, let's go.
Is slavery a choice?
Is slavery a choice? Now, I'm not gonna lie. This is very tough for me to answer it.
Yeah.
But the answer is yes.
You know what? I knew you was gonna Kanye West us.
I
knew you was gonna do it.
I mean, like I said, it's hard for me to say that. Like, it's not an easy thing to say.
Okay, so are we talking in back during real slavery times, or are we talking about modern day times? Because see, when I say it, I'm talking about modern day times because I didn't live back then, so I don't really know what were all the things that were really going on. We see historically, we see through movies, but we don't know how it is to live there. Although I feel like we still living with the PTSD of slavery, right? It's passed down.
Yeah.
It's in the sperm.
It's genetic.
It's genetic at this point.
Yeah.
So with that being said, in modern day time, I do feel like slavery is a choice.
Yeah, well, Kanye was representing the old times.
He was.
You know what I mean? And like I said, like the only thing that
did he specify he was referencing the old?
Wait, because he said slavery lasted for 400 years, and he said 400 years. That sounds like a choice. That's what he said. And yeah, like I said,
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, that's why I say it was tough.
But I'm just like, damn, because it was more slaves on the plantation than slave masters.
You know, real talk. The one thing that really influenced my answer wasn't even Kanye. Is because you know Dr. Claude Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the guy, I call him the godfather of black economics.
Yeah.
And he actually said in speeches, like there's one speech I heard him say, he was like, you know, if black people wanted to, they could have ended slavery if they wanted to. All they had to do was just stop working and fight back. Like,
do you think it was our love for God that made us not end slavery?
Well, no, I mean, obviously we had the mental conditioning and all that stuff, and I mean, it's no different than, you know, it's no different than like when you see tigers out here being in circus acts. Like, they're tigers. They could literally maul the ringmaster if they wanted to, but they're conditioned to think like, well, no, this is cool. You know what I mean?
But are they conditioned to think it's cool because they know they'll die?
No, I think, well, I would say with the tigers, it's more so of because they're not like torturing tigers.
So you saying black people during slavery were the tigers of a circus?
You can say, for lack of a better term, yeah.
Wow.
But also another reason why I say it was a choice too is because while it's not necessarily talked about a lot, but it's actually well documented that there were many slave rebellions. Yeah.
It's not really spoke about.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but it's well documented that there were plenty of rebellions. So it wasn't like we were just sitting here getting our ass whooped and just taking it.
We just gonna take it.
Yeah, you know. So
and then think about how fearless Harriet Tubman was.
Yeah, Nat Turner. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And they were actually, it's just like we're just hearing some stories. I think in order to continue to keep us
absolutely, and to keep the narrative going. I mean, something different than the civil rights. They try to make it that we just always been passive and weak and we never had no bite to us. You know what I mean? We just sat down and took everything, and that's not the case. So that's why I do say because there are so many rebellions that we don't know about. It's like, well, then to a certain extent, it kind of is a choice. But because if you think about it too. Black people outnumbered the slaves outnumbered the slave masters. Yeah,
but we didn't outgun them.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like
right. Ammo can beat anything. Ammo can beat fist every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying though, at the end of the day though, I do agree with Dr. Claude Anderson because he did say like if black people if we really didn't want to be in that position, we would have found a. You know, a perfect example of this, the Haitians. Yeah. The Haitian Revolution.
Oh, they actually.
Haitians actually beat. They were outgunned. They had obviously the French had way more resources, and our black brothers and sisters in Haiti won that and got their independence. So
revolution.
I get people not fucking with Kanye, but his notion of it being a choice and choosing to stay, you know, in that position, it's a tough. Like I said, it's not like an easy thing to answer, but when you really think about it, it's like, damn, like.
Yeah, but see, people don't want to speak of sometimes of the real and true, and because Kanye is known to be a bit
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's coming
unstable.
from Kanye, so.
Because he's known to be a bit unstable.
Yeah.
We also have to sometimes not take what he says for validity. And I think we live in such a culturally censored world, right? Mm-hmm. People don't want to hear the truth anymore. They want you to be passive to their needs.
Yeah,
right?
people want to feel good nowadays.
They want to feel good, so they don't want to hear that you had a choice in this. Just like sometimes with an abusive relationship, what makes you stay? And I know that mental constraints and mental abuse is very strong.
Absolutely.
Because I had a conversation with my grandmother today, and she was in an abusive relationship, and I said, well, Grandma, how long was you with him? She was like, oh, baby, I was with him 10 years. And she said one time he hit her in the head with a brick. He hit her with an old Coke bottle, you know, the Mexican Coke bottles, in the head, with that. And say he was beating her ass almost every week. She said that he would come home, anything she do could just tick him off, right? And that she was saying that my uncle, who was like 15, 16 at the time, would have to come home. He used to tell my mother, just call me if he started getting on my, and it wasn't their father. If he started getting on her, all I need you to do is come call me so I can come over here and break it up, right? I said, Grandma, why did you stay so long? We just had this conversation today. She said, baby, I just feel like I couldn't leave. I couldn't survive on my own. I didn't have enough money. And she said it took for me to work 10 years to save up and then cash out on my 401k for me to actually take my kids and move to California. And she said it took everything that I had out of that 401k to move. And I said, well, Grandma, what about welfare? All you had to do was go to a shelter. She said, baby, I couldn't leave. And so with that, I started to think and have some type of empathy and compassion for slavery.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said too. It's not like I said. My answer is yes, it was a choice, but it's not as black and white as you know.
It's not as black as white. And then it says, who's to say if they did all the rebellions? I'm pretty sure they killed all those people out. I'm pretty sure if you just look at all the white people that were in the North, they outnumbered us here. Or do you think they outnumbered us? Because they outnumber us right now. It's 60% to like 15.
But I think I don't think. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would assume that we did outnumber them because remember we were a commodity. So the more, and I would say at least in the South we outnumbered. At least in the South where slavery was prevalent, we outnumbered them because you had one slave master, but he had a plantation of 50 slaves. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we definitely did outnumber. We had the numbers, I would say.
But what about all the people that worked in the city that just had businesses and stuff like that and had guns? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. One that we already been able to see from all these mass shootings that they're doing that one AK-47 can kill. Spray and kill.
They had the muskets back in the day, so
what was the process of a musket?
That was when you had to like put the gunpowder in there and you had to like mix it in.
How many people can you kill with that?
I think you only get like one good bullet off that. And you gotta start over.
Oh, so white people had good ass aim back then,
you had to really mean that shit. Yeah, you couldn't just spray everybody.
I wonder did Harriet Tubman know how to outrun musket bullets?
Well, no, I think by the time we got to her time, I think they had the shotguns by that
time. Oh, okay.
But like the 1776, the war for the American independence, they was doing the muskets. We had to put the little gunpowder in there.
Ooh, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I sound like I could beat your ass by the time you get all that shit off.
Yeah, definitely.
On some real. But today in modern times, I say that slavery is still a choice, and I think most people choose to be sheep and enslaved.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, look at Matrix, the red pill, the blue pill.
What you mean by that?
Well, you know the movie Matrix. But he said, like, you make the choice. Do you choose the red pill or do you choose the blue pill? Do you want to stay in the matrix, stay in the illusion, or do you want the truth and be free? And we live in it's that same thing today. You know what I mean?
It's amazing how so many movies can really
they tell the truth in movies.
Tell the truth.
Absolutely.
It seems like the only place where the truth really lies is in movies. And
movies
people like, oh, that's
that's what
and they literally walk out of that movie and continue through their everyday life like they wasn't exposed to the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. The truth is always there. And honestly, I would say with black people, I would say the truth is just also in our history. You know what I mean? Like people like to paint black people as conspiracy theorists, and we just be crazy. But we got actual documented shit. Like
we got intuition.
That too.
PTSD.
Exactly. Like because we know some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we lived in this country. We survived in this country all these years. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a choice though. I would say for sure. I mean, but at the same time though, it's a choice. But even like in slavery though, there are still conditions there are still like things put into place that.
It's a lot of things stacked up against us nowadays to make it seem. But I also feel, because me being a person that has been to other places around the world, I think that if you're in America, slavery is a choice. Is it a lot of odds stacked against us? Absolutely. Is it a lot of systemic things put in place against us? Absolutely. But you still have the ability to go from nothing to something in this country. And I think a lot of people want to be mentally enslave themselves by thinking that the man is against them, the system is against them, this won't work out, they can't get along. Yeah, did we back in the day have more redlining, and did we have more integration issues and crack epidemics and the welfare reform and the prison reform? Did we have all this stuff? But slowly, I think nowadays in our generation, we can surpass a lot of that shit if you want something out of life.
Well, yeah, I always say too, I'm like, the system is still in place. It's definitely still stacked against us, but it's not an excuse to not try.
It's not an excuse not to
It's
try.
like it's definitely like, trust me, as a black man.
But most people live in this excuse and don't try.
Yeah, absolutely.
So therefore, slavery is a choice for you because you're not trying. Because you're using all of the excuses to really live and not really live.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, as a black man, you know, it's scary, you know.
As a black woman, it's scary.
Well, I'm saying, with police shootings.
They
and stuff.
killing
black women. They kill
too.
black women too, for sure.
Come on now, we just had one with the young girl.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. And Breonna Taylor birthday was just the other day.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, we had several black women get killed.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, you know.
Maybe not as many as black men.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. Yeah. But I'm just saying, just, you know, there's definitely fears, and there's definitely things that that are stacked against us. But like I said, you can't use that as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you still gotta get out here and grind. Your rent's still due on the 1st. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, even this whole pandemic, people like, how come you're not scared of it? I'm like, because my rent been due this whole time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I still gotta grind. I still gotta do shit. I still gotta make it happen. Yeah. So you can't use that as an excuse. Even in comedy, a lot of times with black comedians, like, we talk about, we know how heavy that racism is in the comedy game.
Absolutely. A lot of these, and especially with this whole pandemic, a lot of people swore and promised that they were going to be more diverse. And
man,
we
open it back up, man. These lineups, all white.
All white only.
All white.
Back to the fountains.
But last summer, though, they was like, oh, you poor Negroes, here's a diverse lineup. Yeah. We open back up. We're going to make sure you guys. Man, we back open it like, Black Lives Matter.
They don't even say that. Now it's just Asian Lives Matter.
Oh, it's Stop Asian. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys were last summer. This summer is Stop Asian Hate.
Yeah, and Pride Month. So you just
we
just gotta open the hot back in there next February. Next February they gonna look out for.
It's double that. So we wait to jump in. Like, okay, wait a minute.
Wait for February to jump back in. You know what I mean?
But even, like I said, as black comedians, we definitely deal with the racism side of comedy. But like I said, that's still not an excuse to not do what you need to do to make your career what you want it to be.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I hear the excuse of a lot of black comedians like, oh yeah, that's like white clubs, they be acting like this, they don't let me in. But also don't go over there to try. I've invited so many people to help them, introduce them to people at other clubs or other promoters and stuff that don't look like us, and they won't even show up. They don't show up. It's like, how can you, and then you want to continue to use that excuse, they know who I am. Nobody knows who you are, bro. That's a hard reality. We know Kevin Hart, we know Tiffany Haddish, we know Cat Williams, we know we know them. Everybody know them, but everybody don't know me. Everybody don't know you. Yeah. We still gotta hustle until we become a household name. If you're not a household name, you can't be saying this person know who I am, they know I'm funny. Maybe not. Because I also fall in the thing of out of sight, out of mind. So if I don't see you for a while, I just forget when I'm thinking of opportunity because I'm not seeing or hearing from you. I'm thinking of the people that I'm constantly in contact with, right? So with that being said, I do think that even in everyday life, slavery is a choice. It's some people that acquire so many skills but would continue to go work for somebody else. I know this one guy in Atlanta, he said he was working for this trucking company and he asked the guy for a raise that he felt was well deserved because he was doing a great job, and the guy was like, no, I'm not going to give you a raise. And he actually quit the job, invested in his own trucks, and started his own trucking company, and made triple what he would have gotten on that raise. So it's like, was it to work at a job every day can considered in some jobs can be considered slavery. So do you continue to work every day, or do you really venture out and live your dreams? Now, I will say this as well. Being an entrepreneur ain't for everybody.
Yeah,
everybody don't want to do it.
That's what I was just about to say. I'm like, everybody don't necessarily have
everybody
the
don't want to do it.
So
slavery is only a choice when you continue to be in a job that you don't want to be in because you're afraid that things might not work out and you might not really fulfill your dreams, which is another thing that a lot of people should look into, which is imposter syndrome, right?
Well, I wouldn't even say that that's necessarily slavery. I would say that's just more so just playing it safe and not willing to take a chance on yourself. But I wouldn't say that that's slavery.
I do.
Though.
I consider it slavery. Slavery is working for somebody. That's slavery.
No, I see that's the thing. I don't think working because.
No, I don't mean working for somebody in all aspects. I said working for somebody when you don't want to do it.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't agree because like when I was 18, I didn't want to work at Pinkberry, but at that time I knew I needed money, and so I sucked it up and I went to my job until I was able to do what I had to do and leave. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
But if you continue to work there to this day, right? How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. If you were still working there today, would you consider that slavery and slavery is a choice?
I don't know, but I wouldn't consider that slavery though.
Why? You still working at a job that you didn't want to work at. If you do it, we all got to do things that we don't want to do for a short period of time. But if you continue to do it year after year after year after year after year, you fucking hate it, you start to become bitter, it's starting to roll over into your family, into your kids, into your relationship because you're building up so much animosity because you don't want to do something, that's slavery to me.
Okay, well, when you break down like that, well then, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying because you had to go take this job and you work there and you're not a slave. No. And like I said, some people like working jobs. Then slavery is out of the thing. But you can also be a slave in relationships.
I mean, you can be a slave in anything.
You can be a slave in toxicity, right? So with that being said, I do think it's a choice. I don't think slavery is just like the whole old. That's why I said modern day.
Well, yeah, I would say definitely, like, I would say a lot of us are slaves to social media. A lot of us, I mean.
Not social media.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of us.
Be a slave to my social media. Go ahead and subscribe.
A lot of y'all are Daphnique slaves. She a slave master. I heard talking about slavery and children. She wants you to choose her as a slave master.
Okay, choose me.
Watch her content, y'all.
Okay.
But real talk, I mean, like I said, slave social media, materialism. Because, like, what's the name? Safari. Yeah. You know, the hip hop. He actually made a good point, which you do see now. He was saying like a lot of kids in like their late teens, early 20s are like depressed and stuff because they follow social media. And you know, social media only shows you people only show you on social media what they want you to see. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
because I live life. I'm only posting one time a day, and I'm posting you a 3-minute sketch.
And you just post sketches, so you don't really post like my luxurious life and then like, but you see.
I like how you added luxurious.
I mean, I know how you live, so I've been to the crib.
People don't act like I don't. Okay.
But I'm just saying, these people, a lot of these kids and teens and stuff, and even adults for that matter, we follow these influencers and stuff, and all they do, celebrities, and all they do is show off like all their material wealth, and so it makes us, we look at our own lives in comparison, and then we're like depressed, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's not even real life, you know what I'm saying?
I've looked at other people's relationships and been sad, like I don't have a relationship like that.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. When I was in my relationship, I thought about that, and then I got out of it, and I was like, I don't even be jealous no more, like, cause I done had it. So it's like you don't even really care. It's just like when you finally get like something nice in your life, and when you finally get it, you just be like, oh.
Every time I get a new car, I'm like, I'm gonna keep this one clean, and I don't.
Yeah, like perfect day. Like, I got my car. I was like, oh, this is nice. Now I done had it for like 2 years now. I'm like, I'm over this shit.
Yeah, I need something new.
Yeah, he's like, I want the next thing. But it's easy to become a slave to, like I said, to materialism and consumerism. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and even social media. Like I went on a 3-day social media fast a couple years ago.
3 days? That's it? A couple of years ago.
No, but let me tell you, I didn't realize how much of a slave I was because it was like a drug. I was going through like withdrawals.
For real?
Yeah, because it was like I turned off all my notifications and everything. I even uninstalled the app just to, and I was like 3 days. I like just to see what it's like. When I tell you, I felt disconnected from the world because I didn't realize how much news and just everything. I didn't know how much I consumed of social media because as soon as I got back on, I had went out for 3 days as soon as I got back home.
So your slavery was definitely a choice.
Yeah.
And when you got back on, what happened?
Man, when I got back on, I was like, R. Kelly was trending because the Surviving R. Kelly documentary had just dropped. So I had been off for 3 days.
I missed a lot.
So like R. Kelly was just nowhere around when I was on social media. And then I popped back on, I was like, he a monster. I was like, what the hell happened with R. Kelly? And then I was like, okay, let me get back off social media. I don't need it.
You know you look.
I did. But it was still.
Lying is a choice too at this point.
But either way, but going through those 3 days though, where I just completely shut off social media, it made me realize like, wow, like, you know, it's easy to be. Hell, you talk to me all the time about how I be on my phone all the time, you know, and it really can be addictive.
I do be on my phone too.
Yeah, it could be addictive.
They say these new kids, actually, kids growing up now is gonna actually develop a new bone in their neck from actually always looking at the cell phone.
Yeah, that's crazy because like when we was kids, we was told you can't get no cell phone until you was like 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you had to be a teenager to have
I had to have titties before I got a cell phone. That took a while.
Even when I turned 16, my family was broke, so I still didn't get one. But nonetheless, they was like, when you're 16.
And it was those Nokia phones that you couldn't even text on. You could only.
Yeah, the hottest phone at the time for me was the T-Mobile Sidekicks.
Oh yeah, those was like, I ended up getting one. I didn't really like it, but I got one because everybody was like,
yeah.
That was a cool thing.
Oh, then
you could flip it up and start it. It
remember,
looked like a video controller.
Yeah, remember the Razor?
Oh,
Motorola
yeah,
Razor?
yeah, the flip phone.
The Razor.
Yeah.
If you had
Phones
the Razor.
back in the day used to double as a weapon too. If you hit somebody with it, it was dangerous.
Yeah. Oh no! One time I got hit in the balls. No, real talk. Somebody threw on accident. They threw their cell phone. Actually, like they tossed it at me and it hit me. I was like 16. That shit hit me in my balls. When I tell you, I was in the worst pain. And I think it was one of them like Nokia, old school Nokia cell phones.
That was a weapon. You could kill somebody with a phone.
Like I was
with a lot of force.
Yeah, man. And they threw it lightly. And I was there for like 2 days. I had to limp. It was bad.
Damn.
Yeah. And she just kept popping. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's when your balls still be connected to, the scrotum.
Yeah, my little was even always
dropped
dropped.
Yeah,
they were like freshly dropped. I was 16. It was like fresh drop. But yeah, that shit hurt though. It hurt. Felt like slavery was a choice.
I don't know why I'm laughing right there, because I'm like, why didn't you hit your dick too? Just balls?
It just hit my balls. Like the way she threw the phone at me.
Where was the dick at?
It just hit my nuts. I was like, oh man, it was terrible. It was the worst pain.
It was definitely a weapon.
It was the worst pain.
Yeah, but I would say that I think that people that in society that are coined as crazy, they be saying some factual stuff.
Oh no, one thing I will say about Kanye, a lot of people try to write him off because he's a Trump supporter, all that shit. But when I actually once I got out of my emotions.
Out of your emotions.
Yeah, that's because.
And us as a people tend to be very
black
emotional.
people, we be very emotional.
We're not logical at times. Sometimes
when we just feel the type of way, we just let that be what it is. It's like, well, nah. Because one thing with Kanye, you have to sit through a lot of bullshit because he do be rambling on and on. Like, I will say that.
Like an old black man.
Oh my God, he will go. You be like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? But he do drop gems, and you will pick up the gems. You'll be like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. But you gotta sit through a lot.
I think once you listen to all crazy people, though, they'll say some smart shit in there, but you was like, damn, you just had to filter through all of this.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, like, well, yeah, he do be dropping gems. I'm like, man, you be dropping gems when you want to drop them, but you be like, why I gotta sit through all this?
And I mean, at this point, he a billionaire, so he must know something.
I mean, yeah, that's like I said, a lot of people.
And money doesn't define whether or not you're smart,
yeah. But for Ye, though, like I said, a lot of people like to dismiss Ye for whatever reason. But I mean, he's not as crazy as we make him out to be. Like,
I think he is.
I think yes.
I think he on medication.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying, though, is that
whenever they give you medication, you definitely crazy. You 50-150.
But I still say though, to his credit though, it's like he's not as crazy as we make him out to be, just because it's like I said, you look at he's still a successful businessman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like he was who's a celebrity that went crazy and you just be like Orlando Brown went crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was saying bop. You know what I'm saying?
Bop.
You know what I mean? Like,
what was that? Yeah, he was crazy.
Like, he went crazy, but like, yeah.
He said he slept with Raven Simone. I was like, this nigga.
Yeah, like I said, he was going wild.
Yeah,
like, we've seen people go crazy, and you be like, damn. But like, it's like, he definitely has his moments. But I mean, the fact he's maintained his career and everything, and he's still pushing music. I mean, he's still doing businesses and stuff. It's like he's not as crazy as we make him out to be. He just be talking shit.
I'll let you win on that one.
Okay.
So when they say also slavery was a choice, I do look at people like Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner, because it wasn't a choice for them.
Right? Yeah.
But I think if it wasn't a choice, you had to die about that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
you had to be willing to die. You can't. Living was not an option. It was an option in the sense that you could live, but you had to also be not afraid of death.
And you know what? Actually, reading about the Haitian Revolution, they actually said once they got over their fear of death, that's when it took over. That's when they took over and won.
Are you afraid to die?
No, you can't be.
I said, are you afraid to die?
No.
You not?
I mean,
I'm afraid to die.
No,
I don't want to die.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know anything that I'm willing to die about.
Yeah, for me, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die. I just don't want to die before I fulfill what I want to do and what I feel like I was put on earth to do. But I'm not scared of dying.
That's still some type of fear, though.
I mean, I
guess you want to live out your life and
to me, but it's like, but death is inevitable, so we all do it. So I'm not really scared of it though. Like I still don't even I'm not scared. I'm like, if I die, I die. Because like I said, that's just, we all have to do that one day. That's inevitable.
Well, I'm not trying to do it anytime soon.
Well, no, me neither. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I have a fear, it's just, I just don't want to die early. But
yeah, I get what you're saying. So, but I do think that death has to actually be on the table. Like, should I die about this? And I think that's what people like Harriet Tubman, she was willing to die. She was okay, but she was luckily to fulfill her whole purpose on this earth and die at an old age. Mm-hmm. So, but I love how she just did not take slavery as an option. It just wasn't an option. She was going to go back and get as many, and she made sure it wasn't an option for other people. And I love her story because she said that if anybody had any fear or doubt, she would kill them.
And she would kill them. It's like, you're going to die anyway. So, and
she said, but we cannot risk the lives of so many others because
you scared. Yeah. She would threaten to shoot.
But that's amazing that in certain moments she had to kill people because they were so enslaved that they wanted to go back, and they were fearful.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I look at all our great black revolutionaries and leaders. I mean, like I said, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, the late great Malcolm X, Dr. King, Fred Hampton. Yeah. All those people had no fear of death because they knew what they was doing was bigger than them.
I think they knew they would live a short life too. Harriet Tubman lived a long life.
Yeah. But Malcolm, he knew.
Yeah, but Harriet Tubman lived a long life, but I feel like the other ones, they knew at some point.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the one of Dr. King's last speeches, the one when he was like, I've been to the promised land, I've seen the mountaintop, that speech, they actually said he thought he was going to die that night.
What?
And when he got off the stage, when he finished his speech, when he got off, he fainted because he was so scared because he just knew, he was like, they're going to kill me at this speech right now. He knew that was going to happen, and it didn't, and he fainted because he was just so nervous.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, but these people, I mean, they said like Malcolm, they said he knew, you know what I'm saying? Like he knew what it was, like he knew his time was coming, but also, you think about COINTELPRO. Okay. Counterintelligence program, J. Edgar Hoover, FBI. Yeah. Their mission said to prevent a black messiah from rising. That was a mission statement.
And I think it still is.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So,
but I think this was a great podcast. So we learned a lot. So to sum it all up, so is slavery a choice?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It depends.
I mean, yeah. Well,
just yes and no.
Yeah. Like someone like
yes and no.
Someone like Killmonger said on Black Panther. He said, when I die, bury me with the ancestors who jumped off the slave boats because they knew that death was better than slavery.
I know that's
so
right.
They made that choice. They said they made the choice to not be a slave.
Amen. So I'm Daphnique Springs. Thank you for listening to Unapologetically Daphnique. Rubyn, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on all social media at Rubyn Comedy, RUBYN Comedy.
All right. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.